It's Monday, October 7th, and this is Markets Daily, hosted by me, Jen Sanasi. On this show, we explore the crypto markets and make sense of what's going on so that you can make better decisions when you're looking at allocating your portfolio. Joining me on today's show is founder and general partner at Delta Blockchain Fund, Kavita Gupta. Kavita, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much, Jen, for having me again.
Of course. All right. We are talking all about the markets today, as we do every day on this show. Talk to me about what you're watching recently.
I don't know if I'm watching, but I'm really waiting for liquidity in the market. We saw a bit of an alt rally, and then again, because of the political situation in Middle East, we just saw that drawing up, down again. So all I'm watching right now are two things. One, all the news, so-called the biggest token launches, which should really trigger the market, not really triggering the market, and why. And the second thing is like, when are we going to expect alt rally and Ethereum rally?
Let's talk a little bit more about the two things that you just said there. Let's start with when we may expect an alt rally and an Ethereum rally. Do you have a hypothesis?
I mean, okay, so the first, we did see the Fed rate cut, and that did
Hmm.
trigger a little bit of liquidity in the space. We felt like, okay, some trigger has happened. The next big one, I think everyone is expecting elections. And of
Hmm.
course, one candidate, which is Republican candidate, has really positioned himself to be the crypto guy. So, and also the Wall Street guy, right? And so I do think that if he wins, then there is a very big signal to the market for a big trigger in November itself. But if that's not the case, we are still waiting for some sort of a clarity from the Democratic candidate, VP Harris, and there hasn't been any. There has been just one statement which was really ruffled up between six technologies. This one too, like we are looking forward to having something, but nothing. But the negative parts of like, or probably the stories which we have heard or the policies which we have heard, like unrealized gain taxes, are very scary to even think, because then no possible trading activity can happen on United States soil. So I don't know, everybody is looking for the election, but given those scenarios, until and unless something majorly change over next debates or next 1.5 month, I feel like will be interesting to see how market reacts on one victory versus another victory. The other thing is, the more Fed rate cut has to happen, right? So maybe if not the election, then the Fed rate cut in January or February is probably going to be the next big trigger. But I'm hoping one or the other, like the bull market just now have to come. Something has to be created. I don't know what it is at this point, Jen.
Well, I want to talk about the potential of a bull market or the extension of this bull market in just a second, but let's talk about that liquidity. You mentioned upcoming Fed rate cuts. You mentioned the elections there. Is that what you think is going to drive more liquidity in the space, or does something bigger need to happen?
Definitely something bigger. Like if
Hmm.
you look last time, it was the DeFi summer, which led like a technology driven product that you can have
Hmm.
such higher yields, which led during COVID time. I'm feeling, I initially thought that liquid restaking is probably going to start doing that trigger with Eigenlayer launch, but we did see the whole token launch earlier, couple of days back, right? Yeah, this week. And really haven't moved the market. And of course, said that the whole Middle East catastrophe has not really helped us either, because that keeps on changing the pendulum. But I also, the deep end narrative is already feel like exhausted by the exchanges. I think from the exchange perspective, and I did hear it from one of the top exchange executive without naming them, is apart from meme coin, nothing really is working for them, which I really don't know how to read.
Mm, that's really interesting. I was at a mainnet dinner last night, and another reporter from another publication asked me, "When is the bull market coming?" And I said, I think that I don't know if we're in a bull now, but I think that that hype we experienced in 2021, it's not going to be the same. I think the industry has matured, and it's not going to feel the same as any bull markets prior. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that. When the bull market arrives, if it hasn't arrived already, what is it going to feel like? Is it going to feel like the bull markets of the past?
I feel, or maybe I hope, but I do actually feel that at least we will have one or two more bull markets with a complete rage. Because I also agree with you that the market has matured more. ETH has an ETF, Bitcoin has an ETF. People are talking about Solana and Near having an ETF. It is definitely way more mature than the wild west of 17, 18, or 2021. But said that, I think crypto traders or the market traders, like even in hedge fund market, right? You do have a bull market and you have a craziness. Like last time we saw the SPAC craziness out of the blue. Nobody wants to do
Mhm.
SPAC anymore. I think it may not be for year and a half. It may be like 3 months to 6 months and everybody go crazy and then suddenly it comes down. And then slowly and slowly over next 10 years, we're going to start seeing that the volatility is not that high, at least for the blue chip tokens. Um, but I do feel that we're going to feel that craziness of everybody like Bitcoin going to 75, 80K and everybody's like 100K next, 100K next. I think that's very possible.
Some of the people who've come on this show have even said like $1 million next year, which personally I think is a little bit wild, but to each their own.
I'll take it, but I don't
I'll
think
take it too.
so.
All right. You mentioned two narratives, liquid restaking and deepen, which gathered some momentum. And like you said, the narratives have kind of fizzled off. Um, and bull markets are often driven by like a really strong sector of the industry, a really strong narrative. And last time, I think it was NFTs. What do you think it's going to be the next time around when you're looking towards that next big bull that it sounds like you're excited about? What's the narrative that's going to drive that?
I am not 100% sure because see,
Hmm.
meme coins already are a bull with respect to
Hmm.
NFTs, right? We all thought that meme coins are going to be the next driver for NFT. The meme coin market is doing very well, right? So if you look at the platforms like whether it's pump.fun or like you can use sauce.gg, like bunch of those platforms, they are doing very well, right? I feel like they created their own puddle of hype. The rest of the alt market is not able to get pulled on top of it. I mean, Solana, you can say because there's a lot of meme on Solana, Ton or Base. But like, initially NFT was all about Ethereum. It had a big bull cycle on Ethereum, which we haven't seen anything really picking up on Ethereum. So meme coin has. Now coming to infra projects like Deepin or shared security or restaking, I again feel like they were not able to pull up the Ethereum narrative or the underlying chain narrative that strongly as of today. But also the very surprising part is hasn't been like the ETF narrative either. The ETH has been underperforming for sure, but that also has been a traditional part. Like other altcoin picks up, and then suddenly ETH picks up crazily, and all the things. This cycle has been too short, like the last week cycle for all to go and then ETH to pick up, and before that, it all crashed with the Iran thing. I feel like I don't know if it is going to be narrative this time. I think it is going to be connected with DeFi or some sort of an yield product again, because the liquidity in the market going to increase. But I don't have any clear idea of what it is. One thing which I wish would it be, which at least me or at Delta we are very closely looking at, is consumer applications, like how the whole account abstraction, chain abstraction, and liquidity aggregation at one place are going to get web to customers without even thinking I'm on blockchain or I have anything to do with any of the tokens. And I think maybe this time that could really trigger it from students.
Talk to me a little bit about the consumer applications you're watching. Are there any consumer applications that you're watching right now that you think may be able to drive up that mainstream excitement, that mainstream adoption that we talk a lot about during bull cycles?
No, not yet,
Hmm.
because unfortunately, the whole incentive mechanism about tokens of doing so many L1s and L2s between VCs and founders have really fragmented us way more than what we would really need. right? Instead of really getting consumer adoption, we just keep on having more and more and more L1s and L2s to do, like, oh, this is for this faster and throughput and this and this and that. I think what we have not really worked is actually creating a whole stack for consumer. Instead of just saying, hey, there is a chain, now hire 5 backend engineer with smart contracts. Somebody's for Rust, somebody's for Solidity. Like, we keep on increasing complexity for consumer market, especially the web to consumer market, right? Instead of really going and saying, hey, we have a solution like Wix or Foursquare or something, you don't need HTML, you don't need Java, just take this and voila, you have all the benefits, right? I don't see anything. And I'm seeing a bunch of people thinking about it, but nothing is really out. And in fact, we have been closely working to incubate in the space, but there's nothing really out right now. But I think that would quickly change as we enter the end of this year or early, and we'll have a bunch of options out there. That would be interesting to watch.
Hey everyone, did you know 52 million Americans own cryptocurrencies? That's not just a number, it's a movement, economic, social, and political. Decentralized finance, blockchain, and digital currencies are more than buzzwords, they are the future. This November, it's on us to show up and step up. We need to protect crypto to ensure it continues to fuel innovation and freedom for our families and businesses. Don't let this opportunity slip by. The future of crypto is on the line. Make your voice heard this November and pledge to vote now at standwithcrypto.org/pledge. Something I wanted to ask you about is tweet. It feels like we're always in conference season. I was going to say it's conference season, but it feels like we're going to conferences all the time. I just attended mainnet. I know that you recently went to Token 2049, and you tweeted a question that I often ask myself when I go to these events. You said, who's footing the bills for these crazy parties and supporting multi-billion-dollar valuations for pre-testnet products? And I want to talk to you a little bit more about that. I mean, what does that experience, what do these events kind of tell you about where we are in the cycle?
I think this event tells me that some of very prominent funds have not learned from the mistakes of 21, 22. You know, because we did see market after the whole 22 crazy, and because a lot of people raise crazy amount of money in 21, and
Mm-hmm.
90% of those projects, at least as much as I know or in my data sample space, does not exist. Some really good founders have pivoted trying to find a new product market fit, but a lot of people just disappeared with that money too, right? And so in end of 22, 23, we started seeing projects not raising at like 50 million, $100 million valuation without having a single code return, but like decent 20 to $50 million valuation. But when the AI craze happened earlier this year, we started seeing carelessness coming in the space again, with a lot of so-called crypto AI companies again raising at $100 million valuation based on the needs of branding or narrative. Now, when I went to Singapore, I was like, so many different chains and products. Some of the products I didn't even know, and when I realized who are the founders, who are the backers, funders behind them, and then 2 years into it, 3 years into it, they don't even have their test product. Forget about having customers, right? They don't even have their product market fit, but they have really cool parties, and those parties are super loud. They're definitely not there for you to talk to and network or something. Uh, I'm, so I just posed a question. I'm like, who is buying whom, and where is the money coming from? And like, have we not really learned anything from our own mistakes? Because if I'm a founder and somebody is ready to give me a $500 million valuation, I'll take it. It's up to you. You're supposed to be the smart one. The VC is supposed to be the smart one to figure it out, right? I was at one dinner where at the end of the dinner, um, they did thank, like the bill was crazy because it was very high end restaurant, and I was just like, oh my god, like shall we all split or do something? And he's like, and he just took the name of the VC and like, yeah, thanks for them to footing the bill. And we just all laughed. So I it just made me realize that I really hope going into this bull cycle we have learned some lessons and we will stick to it, but yeah, things are different.
Yeah, I guess that comes back to looking at past cycles again, right? Like, do you feel that since there isn't as much liquidity as we would like in the market right now, and we're still seeing these big parties, these big events for products that are still in their infancy, that this industry is kind of being propped up by VC money who really believe in the future, but it is kind of just a belief right now.
So 2016-17 was the ICO bull.
Mm-hmm.
2020-21 was the DeFi bull. 2023-24 is a VC bull. It's a like completely artificially created market as of today, because as we are seeing in the market, there is no retail, like there's no liquidity, there's no exchange which is ready to really support the really high FTVs or the valuations which VCs are giving to the projects according to some cool infra, but like people are not really buying that infra, right? Like as an infra investor in this space for over 8 years, I can tell you this, that time has come for this infrastructure to prove that the consumers wants to use us. And
Mm-hmm.
one more L1 and one more L2 and one more very cool security stuff and one more another DeFi staking and restaking and all those things are degens money moving and the whale money moving from one place to another place. Why don't we have suddenly liquidity in DeFi space? Because that money is now in restaking space, right? And then the restaking TVL came because now there's a liquid restaking place. And then now that money has gone to Bitcoin's taking place. Like we are just moving. It's like a circle, right? But where is that? Like where are we gonna have the so-called Robin Hood impact in crypto when we have a student sitting in a college? Like, the Roaring Kitty impact, where we have a student sitting in a college believing that it's just easy. All I have to do is click off the button and I'm part of the community. I think meme coins are able to do it. We as a blockchain crypto industries are not able to do it.
It's interesting you say that. On a recent episode of the show, we looked at some data that said, Q4 is historically a good time for investors. Usually assets go up in Q4, although October is off to a little bit of a rocky start. But whales are buying crypto. It's just retail is still sitting on the side. And so I think that data backs up what you've said here perfectly. Kavita, we do got to wrap up, but I want to give you a chance to take us home here. Talk to me about what you think is in store for this industry heading into the next year.
So with all that stuff, like after that article came out yesterday and my tweet, somebody texted me and said, you belong to this industry, stop creating FUD. So I do not want to create FUD. I am in the
Mm-hmm.
power of blockchain crypto industry. I'm very excited about where we are heading with respect to the expected bull cycle. And I think that expected bull cycle is going to be, I think our use cases on stablecoin, which continues to now have become the de facto remittance model, and like, transfer systems, like even banks and governments have started looking into it. I think a lot of consumer apps with the power of aggregation of different chains, which I think there will be a big Q1 of next year is all going to be consumer apps using some aggregation technology, is something I'm getting very excited about. I feel like infrastructure, bunch of projects on deepen, bunch of projects on different infrastructure, which we VCs have done and got exhausted. For retail market to now experience the power of, 100 projects getting built on one deepen project, like Peak or something like that, is going to be exciting. Those I'm interested. And I think there is going to be a new type of a restaking yield product or something, which will be like 20-25%. And voila, you're going to have suddenly all the hedge funds looking at crypto again. So these are the four narratives I'm getting excited as I go into end of the year and early next year. And hopefully, Jen, by the time we connect next time, we are talking about, oh, it's already 80-85K. When are we going 100K now?
I hope so. I next all-time high, we'll have you back on this show and we can have a little bit of a celebration and reflect on what we discussed today.
Perfect.
Kavita, thank you so much for joining the show today. And thank you to our audience for watching and listening. If you enjoy listening to Markets Daily or any of the other podcasts on the CoinDesk Podcast Network, subscribe to us. We are on all podcast platforms. And if you prefer watching, we are on YouTube. Subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Thanks so much for coming on this journey to better understand the crypto markets, and we'll see you tomorrow.